My name is Albert Sykes. I'm 27 years old. I'm the lead organizer for the Young People's Project in Jackson, Mississippi. So for me, quality education is, I think it's an all-encompassing education. So it's an education that takes into account the family, the individual learning style of the student, the community that surrounds the school, and the role that the community plays in supporting the school. I think instruction-wise, it's about rigorous instruction, but it's also about instruction that lends itself to young people in the ways that they learn and think, and instruction that allows them to discover and make relationships between things that they learn in school and the ways that they're able to utilize those things in their everyday life. So it's easier to do with math and reading, so you understand the importance of knowing how to count and knowing how to multiply and divide. You understand the importance of knowing how to read. But so we need to make that just as evident in like subjects like science and government and other things like that, other subject areas.
So how has growing up in your neighborhood affected or impacted you in your life?
I mean, it made me who I am. So I think one thing that it did was it steered me away from what was becoming known as a product of our community. So by knowing Omo, by knowing his dad, by being introduced to the Algebra Project, by being a member of the Young People's Project, we were able to, or myself, I can say that I was able to steer clear of a lot of things that was right there, that was just as readily available as the Algebra Project or any other after-school program. It was stuff in the neighborhood that was on the other side of the spectrum that wasn't as good or positive, that was sitting right there waiting, and it was just as easy to access as it is for the Algebra Project. So I say just living in my community showed me the best of what I can be, and then it also showed me a lot of things that I didn't want to be and things that I wish some people around me weren't at the time, and that I wish they still weren't right now.
You could change one thing in your neighborhood. What would it be, and how would you change it?
I changed the image of the neighborhood, and so the way that I changed is to get people to buy into taking care of the neighborhood. So I think when I think about a model community in Jackson, I naturally think about just Fondren in the way that people interact with each other, then the way that people in that area are intent about supporting their area, so shopping at the businesses in that area. When you see them in the grocery store, they tout some of the benefits of being in that area, and so like they advocates for their community. They go out, they keep it clean, you know, and so like I think there's things that we can just naturally do that wouldn't cost us much to clean up our neighborhood. Now in terms of business, I definitely like to see more people investing and opening up businesses in communities like the one I come from, and that people in our communities would be just as intended as people in Fondren to support what's going on locally and what's being produced and cared for by their neighbor.
How important is it to have an education to you?
Like right now, that's the most important tool you can have as an American citizen is an education. So education introduces you to your rights, it introduces you to your history, it introduces you to the skills and the tools that you'll need to be able to live in the 21st century world. And so I think education is the single most important thing that a child can be invested in, and it's the single most important thing that can be invested in a child. And so it's at the top of the list for me. So it's one of the things that I push with my two sons. Even though they're young, I try to build like a understanding and a culture in my house about education and its importance. And so one thing that my son knows is like I'm gonna take school real serious. So I encourage him to ask questions of his teacher if he don't understand stuff, and to ask questions of me and his mom if he doesn't understand things. That's my child in kindergarten, and I expect the same from my 3-year-old. So he's part of the same conversations about asking questions and paying attention and being focused. And so, yeah, it's important overall, and then it's important for me personally and for the way that I raise my family.